the jet fighter in a class by itself. Now, the F-14 Tomcat on Modern Marvels.
There's nothing like an F-14 when it's doing burner takeoff and things of that nature. It's just still awesome after all these years.
Just the sheer size of it and the fact that the wings had swept always was something that always caught the public's eye when they see the F-14. It's just very recognizable.
Maritime air superiority, combat air defense.
And it's done those things extremely well throughout its history and goes out, I think, as perhaps the most lethal platform on the planet.
The afterburner capability of this GE F-110 engine allows this airplane to accelerate to speeds in excess of Mach 2.3. This is one of the intakes for the F-14B that we're looking at here. So when they developed the F-14, they developed an air inlet control system, which allows these ramps, there's actually 3 ramps, number 1, number 2, and number 3 ramp. These program down as a function of your Mach number.
We really started in earnest phasing out the F-14s in about the 1990, early 90s time frame. The aircraft was approaching 20 years old.
Each retired jet first comes to Oceana Naval Air Station in Virginia. Here, experts determine its ultimate fate.
Some of those aircraft are destined to go to museums throughout the United States or military bases throughout the United States, be placed on public display. Some of the aircraft will go to what we call AMARC, which is at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson, Arizona.
The remaining F-14s stay here at Oceana, where teams of mechanics strip their parts in preparation for a date with the shredder. It's all part of the Navy's Stricken Aircraft Reclamation and Disposal Program, or SARDIP. William Bell of Titan Systems spearheads the project.
After 30 years of maintaining the F-14, it's a very bittersweet scenario for me to be the guy that also is in charge of making them go away.
On this day, former F-14 maintenance crewmen Larry Brown, Matt Cullen, and Tyrone Pickett are stripping a Tomcat that once soared proudly over Iraq in Operation Iraqi Freedom. It's now known simply as number 161428.
Each aircraft is assigned a bureau number, and for us to make it easy for us, we just assign write the bureau number on the part and pretty much track it that way.
It will take them about 2 to 3 weeks to carefully remove and catalog close to 500 separate parts.
We usually take out the ejection seats first because of the explosives in them. Then the avionics, get all the confidential gear and things of that nature, all the boxes out.
In this compartment here, we'd have many of the radar-type boxes, weapons-type boxes that would come out. All of these type items, and these are the type components that we would remove from the aircraft, and those would go back into the naval supply system to be reused on either other F-14s, and some of these components may even fit other aircraft, that they would reuse those on those.
Each part stripped from the plane must be meticulously accounted for. This will help ensure that none of the parts falls into the wrong hands, like those of the Iranians, who still possess their fleet of inoperative F-14s from the 70s. Reduced to wingless carcasses, the Tomcats slated for destruction are unceremoniously towed to a site aptly known as the Boneyard. The cut-up remains of the aluminum airframes are later shredded and recycled. You'll never know if the body of your new car or your can of soda once hurtled through the sky at Mach 2, defending America's interests. Whether an F-14 is scrapped or shipped to a museum, you can be sure that there's a crew member who had a tough time saying goodbye. A new breed of combat fighter now rules the skies. But the F-14 will endure as the pioneering wonder that changed the face of aerial warfare. A plane not measured simply by its superior abilities, but also by its indelible mystique.
Christian and Muslim residents of Sidon are still attempting to evacuate the city between rounds of heavy shelling that continued for a 4th day.
think they saw us?
Yes.
The Christian population in Jazin is still under threat from the Shiite Amal militia and Palestinian and Sunni forces to the west.
The Christian village of Miumie, east of Sidon, is under constant fire from a nearby Palestinian camp. Attacks began 5 days ago when Palestinian forces entered the village. Their attack was turned back by the Christian Lebanese forces.
The Muslim want us to go.
Since fighting broke out between PLO forces and Christians 3 weeks ago, Easter plans for Christian villages east of Sidon, Lebanon have drastically changed. As battle lines are taking shape under the threat of constant sniping and rocket attacks, the reality of war again in southern Lebanon sinks in.
روح شوي بعيد